Another life of a dad. This time here we're dealing with schooling for my kids. Now I've talked about this before. It's like that now my kids go to virtual school, and a lot of people have questioned, well, what is virtual school? What's the difference between that and normal school? So we're going to go over that, and I'm going to show you, basically what it's all about. Now, there's a stigma attached to virtual school that only kids that can't survive in regular school go there, or the only kids that they're being bullied all the time and blah blah blah, things like that, or they're not smart enough to be in regular school. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. As you know, I have 5 kids. I have 5 kids. All of them go to some version of virtual school. Now, early in my my oldest daughter's life and everything else, that she was in regular school. My oldest son was in regular school. My middle daughter was in regular school. All 3 of them went to regular school for a period of time because we wanted them to experience regular school. Now, of the 3, my oldest daughter has challenges because of her bipolar that makes it super hard for her to function in regular school. Plus, she was getting bullied, and we actually found teachers that were engaging to her, that would know what to do to get her to move it along, get stuff done, everything like that, so she can get her grades up. Now, intelligence wise, when you put, again, I'm going to go for the oldest down. When you put my oldest child, any question that you give her and everything else, that smart as a whip, very highly intelligent, good to go when it comes to brains. Motivation, on the other hand, no, again, with the bipolar thing and so that she's like, okay, I don't care. It's the don't care factor that makes it sad. Okay, she doesn't really care about school. Again, you can punish her. You can take away stuff from her so that she doesn't care about that. Right now, she's in virtual school. She is on punishment. She's been on punishment for a month and a half. She really doesn't care about being on the punishment, even though you've taken stuff away from her that a normal child would be like, Ree, I need to work hard to get my stuff back. Oh, Ree. No, it doesn't work for her. Again, a bipolar mind doesn't work like a standard mind, so stuff you normally do, take this away, stuff like that, it won't work. So you have to be able to challenge her in different ways. And again, we had a couple of teachers in brick and mortar school where I was able to challenge her, and they was able to bring out the best in her. But most of the time, sorry to say, most teachers don't give a rat's patootie, or they don't have the skill set, meaning that a lot of these teachers that are in brick and mortar school now are so young that they're younger than me. They're basically just getting out of college, and everything else. And this is their first teaching job and everything else. That what can you teach a child? Again, we had some teachers that were older that were like, okay, I know I've been through this before, sir. No problem, Mr. Edwards. We got this covered and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's not like I was the type of parent that popped into school, go to the office, put my badge on, look through the window, see what she's doing, see what my other daughter's doing, see what my son's doing, just to see if they're acting up in class, doing what they're not supposed to be doing, anything else like that. Because I'm an involved parent. I was on the school board and everything else of that for a brick and mortar school. So you probably learn, wait, you were on the school board for a brick and mortar school? Why did you keep your child? Because again, I know the ins and outs of the budget, meaning that there's never enough books to go around. There's never enough materials to go around to actually have all the students what they need. The teachers are always short on funds, so they always have to, ask you to bring in extra stuff for the teacher to give other kids. At the start of the year, it's like that. You have to go. They give you a list of things, materials that your kid is going to need in order to do the schoolwork. Well, wait a minute. If I gotta provide everything they need, pencils, paper, markers, crayons, books, literally sometimes you literally had to buy the book for the school, because your student had to share with the other student how they're going to bring the book home to study for the exam if they can only use a book in class. Well, okay, here's a pamphlet. Basically, a pamphlet was a scan of the couple of pages of the book for the students to take home to do their homework and to come back in with that you've done your homework and everything else like that. Then they got to the point in Volusia County where we are at, where they didn't even have any books for. Again, that's one of the reasons we've really pulled it up. Just after they only had basically 2 books to share, after that point they're like, okay, no, we're not getting any more books. Everything is going to be these pamphlet things, that wasn't really done by Macmillan. Again, this is the well-known, almost all books come from Macmillan, or I forgot the other source of books for schools. No, they don't have that stuff anymore. They're giving pamphlets from some websites that I have no idea where they're getting the stuff from, and they're supposed to be teaching your child from this stuff. I'm like, what? And again, since I was on the school board, I know how they budget. The federal government says, that's how much money you got. Your state government says, that's how much money you got. Your city government tips in a little bit, that's how much you get. And they pull all their money together. Now that money has to go for buildings, because again, it's a building. Maintenance on that building, maintenance man, teacher salaries, their line out of budget and stuff like that for them to actually get supplies for schools. I mean, the list goes on. And by the time you get down to what the child needs, food, lunches, and everything else of that, there's nothing left. There's never, ever enough. So you're sending your child into a system where it's guaranteed that if you are not a person that has the almighty dollar, your child is automatically starting at a deficiency. Automatically. Now, as we've already covered before, some of my children have issues that are medical that would make those challenges even worse. So you have to judge for yourself to see what is the best thing for your child. This is send them into nursery school, because basically that's what I call a nursery. Brick and mortar is this nursery, because basically they're filling up a seat. The teacher's putting stuff on the board, but gives zero about your child. Very rarely, like I said, very, very rarely, you do get those older teachers that have been around that know their way around the system, that know their way around to get students engaged. But that's like super rare nowadays. Why? Because teachers are paid crap. Okay, so again, took my my youngest two have never been in a brick and mortar school, so that they've always been virtual. So virtual school, this where I live at, there's only 2 flavors. Now there is Connections Academy and there's FLVS. Now when we first started out, Connections Academy and FLVS were partners. They were the same school virtually. You went into Connections Academy and all your lessons and everything else, and it said the Connections Academy in partnership with Florida Virtual Schools. So Connections Academy was doing basically they were the ones, the teachers you talked to, the administration, but the curriculum came from Florida Virtual School. Up until 2 years ago, when they had a breakup in the marriage. Now, the breakup in that marriage came about because, get this, State went in and like they found that somebody, I'm not going to say who, but if you're watching on YouTube right now, you know, if you look on the stream, I'm not going to say what somebody is. It starts with, you know, Lord, it has in the name, but anyway, wasn't doing right with the money. Because again, since they're taking money away from regular students in the classroom to do virtual school and everything else, that the money wasn't spent the way it's supposed to be. But okay. But that's on the admin side. So you're like, okay, well, what's the advantages of virtual school? What's the disadvantages of virtual school? We're going to go step by step. Now, the major advantage of virtual school is you can start classes 6 o'clock in the morning, 7, 8, 9, whatever time you need to for your current student to do their work, to get it done. So you have, I have 2 of my kids are not morning people. They're not morning people at all. They get up, you know, even if you send them to bed, I've sent my child to bed at 10 o'clock. Even though it's technically, you know, 9:30, 10:30, the schedules for that. They go to bed, and almost all of them have insomnia, not me, so they lay in bed and are not really sleeping. So they're just, you know, okay, but I'm still up till 3 o'clock, like I am right now. I'm still up. I won't be in bed for another hour or so then, at least, and I'll go to bed and still be up too. So they're up, even though they're quiet, lights are off, everything else like that, for them to try to go to sleep, but they're not sleeping. So when I get up at in the morning time, so like 10 o'clock, start knocking the doors, you know, trying to rost them out of bed and everything else, so that it's like, oh, I'm a zombie. Now, literally, if they actually went to sleep at 10, when they went to bed, all the way until, let's say, 11, they finally drift off to sleep at 11, you still would have 11 to 7 o'clock in the morning would be 8 hours. But yet, at 10 o'clock, that would be 10 hours of sleep. Actually, it's 11, but shh. Because again, I always assume that, you know, waking them, they're going to get up in the middle of the night for a second and get something to drink or something like that. So I'm assuming that out of that, from between 11 o'clock at night, even though I sent them at 10, 11 o'clock at night and 10 o'clock in the morning, they'll get up once to get something to drink and everything else. So figures like that, they would get 10 hours of sleep, which they don't. So when they get up in the morning, this is the schedule. Okay, time to get up. Time to log into your classes so we can get stuff started. First, get something to eat, because they cannot function without food in their bellies. It just doesn't happen. I've done it when they said, well, Daddy, I'm not hungry. Come on, we need to do, but okay, we'll do homework. And the frustration in my brain feel like it's going to say, why? Because without food in their belly to fuel their minds, it goes horribly wrong. And then I have to say, go away, please, because, you know, but no, you gotta pray for yourself. It's like that. Shh, calm yourself. So you can start your day anytime. If you want to start your day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can do that. Whereas if you're in brick and mortar school, trust me, used to do this, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're getting your child up. Yeah, so you send them to bed earlier, but if they have insomnia like my kids do, so that they're really not getting sleep, you're dragging them out of bed. Literally, you're dragging. Come on, child. Come on. You're lifting them up out of the bed to get them out of bed. Trust me, I've done this. Come on. Stand them up. Oh, zombies. 5 a.m. in the morning. Oh. Go wash your face, go wash your body, go brush your teeth and everything else. So that we got to get you down the street to the bus. Wife is going to get you down to, my wife had to take me to the bus and so that. 6 o'clock, 6:30, the bus rolls around. It's like that. They basically leaning against the fence post like this, like they drugged out of their minds. You know, they're getting on a bus. How do you think school's gonna go when you basically get off the bus? Again, they get up early enough so they can get to the first thing, so they can get something to eat at the brick and mortar. They eat, go in the classroom, and again, they're so tired and zombied out that they don't start really functioning well until after lunch. See the difference there? So again, virtual school for their schedule, easy. That works. Other thing is, you can only miss so many days in regular school if they're sick. Which like a month ago, we had a month of one child sick. Then they started to get better. Then it started going. It was literally in a cycle that the next child is sick. Next, better. Next. It was literally going in a vicious circle. My wife was sick. The person wasn't sick with me, and I caught it on the last go round of the month. So you had a month where my kids were absolutely miserable sick. You know, took him to the doctor, they gave him the medicine, everything else started to pick up, feel better. Next person it was like I said, when you're in the house 4 or 5, you tend to give sickness around. But you can't miss no days. So days when you know they're highly contagious, you know they are vomiting, throwing up, just all around, it's not gonna make it. If you're in a regular school, you gotta drag them into school. Or you don't drag them in and say, okay, well, my child's sick, even though, again, you take them to the doctor, say they're sick, they're out for days and everything else like that, but you only have a limited number of days to be out. Little secret, there's 2 days in a brick and mortar school. If you're out those 2 days, you do not count for the whole year that you've been in school. Just a little known fact in Florida. There's 2 days that rotate when those days are, that if you miss those 2 days of being out sick, and it could be, let's say, the only 2 days you've ever been sick, you miss those 2 days. For Florida rules, you do not count as being in school for the full year. How stupid is that? But that's another issue. That's a completely different issue. So, if they're sick, they miss X number of days, they're truant, they're in trouble, blah, 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 and everything else like that. Virtual school don't have that problem. Other thing is, we live in Florida. As you've plainly, anybody who know that lives in Florida, we have had days where hurricanes run through here. There's a week or two where you literally are screwed because brick and mortars are closed, right? Because you don't have no power, school don't have no power, whatever. You got to make up those days. Those days are taken away from your sick days that you need to have for school, so it gets even shorter. So you have no time at all. So you get, basically, as my daughter would say, suffer. You're sick, I don't care, suffer. You have to bring your kids in, even if you have a doctor's note, because they've missed so many days because of hurricanes, natural disasters, whatever, power outages in Florida, and so that doesn't matter. Kid suffers because of that. Okay. So that's another thing that, between brick and mortar and virtual school. Virtual school, hurricanes, things like that. The teachers, first off, are literally that teach for virtual school, even though my kids are in Volusia County, they are in Dade County. Some teachers are in Jacksonville. Some teachers are down in Miami. Some teachers are in Duval County. Some people are in. The teachers are literally teaching from all over the state. So hurricane hits this part of the state. They'll excuse the absence and everything else, but you have time to make it up, because you can literally work on, okay, school's been out for the week at brick and mortar. You finally got your power back and everything else, so that you got your power back on Friday. Friday, you can actually literally work Friday, Saturday to work on schoolwork, and then go back to working on. But any other thing, you're screwed because there is no working on Friday and Saturday because there's no teachers available to you. So some of your makeup days can be used on your weekend. Because they'll make it okay. Well, since the school has been closed for a week because again, hurricane, you were not able to get into online, everything else of that. We can make up time for your classes and everything else on the weekend if you're able to do so. Your classes are set up the same number of hours that you would have to be in a brick and mortar school. You're doing in a virtual school and so that. So literally, if you want to do 10 hours one day of schoolwork and not do some on another day, it's fine. Okay, so prime example, in our house we go to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There's no school on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have 3 days off, so it's 4 days on for schoolwork, 3 days off. They have a scheduler. Let me show you. I'm going to go into one of my kids' portals for that. Hopefully I left it open. Okay. Now this scheduler is going to look a little different right now because we're literally at the end of the school year. We're going to go into monthly. Right now you'll see things for the, actually let's go a month back. Oop, that's too far back. Sorry. October. Let's go into October 28th, like that. Okay, note that there's nothing on Friday except for physical education gym. Basically, you know, you have to run, jump, everything else that you have to log. You're running and jumping. You either have a pedometer like this, so that, or you have to videotape that your child is actually doing the thing. Yes, baby.
So your black watch and use a black screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna do like this. Hopefully you can tell it's a watch on my hand. It's a pedometer and so that shows your steps and everything else so that. So you know, and of course I'm telling you about it so that. So you notice there's nothing on Fridays except for now again when the schedule is being rerun by the teacher, because sometimes she reruns the schedule for a reason. They push stuff over here, and the reason why I got pushed over to a Friday is because nope, there's 2 days off in the week that basically school's been pushed here. They pushed it over a day here because you got to have them so many hours inside of the month. Now again, you're like, okay, well that's not a lot of classes. Well, some of the classes are not even listed here because you can work ahead. Meaning that, okay, you did 4 lessons here, 5 lessons the next day. It's like, okay, well, I only have 2 lessons on this day here. Boom, you can go to the next day lessons to complete it, to get your thing done. So again, these lessons that are on Fridays, again, because the teacher ran it, we moved all those lessons. We didn't revamp the schedule. We just, okay, we let it here. We just kept going our normal 4 or 5 lessons a day. And then from there, we took Friday off because at that point, we've already done the work during the week. Brick and mortar school, there is no taking no Friday off unless there's there's a holiday or something like that. You can't just work 4 days out the week and 3 days off. Because the kids really need time to let the gray matter rest. They're not worried about, oh my God, everything is going to come and read. No. We found that this works. We found that sometimes, like you see right here, this is Jiraiya's schedule. Mondays, we sometimes make it lighter so if we can focus on 2 classes because usually it's on the same story or the same area of expertise in one of math, and then we'll do the lighter day front loaded with more stuff on Tuesday because again we ease them into the week. Brick and mortar school, you don't ease them into the week. You just, here's what you got to do, get it done. So Tuesday, as you see right here, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classes attached to it. Now again, If that money rolls along and so that even though it's only 3 classes assigned, they're feeling great. They're okay, Dad, I can do more. We're good. Okay, let's roll on to the next thing. The next thing, since it's easy, we can do two arts to get that done. Then you only have a certain amount of classes next week. Okay, cool. So this is how it rolls. You're literally looking at a schedule of one of my kids for the week. Again, now its schedule can be rerun. You can change the schedule around, like, okay, well, no, this week we have crap loads of doctor's appointments. We'll have to push some of this stuff from being on weekdays to we can move it to a Saturday. Or we can say, okay, well, we won't rerun the schedule. We'll work on Saturday, put the hours in that we worked on Saturday, even though the work was required on Thursday. What happens is, if you don't do the work on time, it shows a little box saying that your child has fell behind. These are the classes that are required for your child to do. Boom. Now, the other thing I hear is like that, it's like, well, they're not really taught by real teachers. Okay. Yeah. Not taught by real teachers. I'm going to go down to Jonica's teacher, Mr. Jacob Jamerson. Now, you're seeing a 59 right here. This is actually a misnomer. It's not a 59. They have some reading classes that is not attached to his schedule, so they're logging it as 0. His core classes, of course, are C's and D's, even though he's not finished for the class for the week. But anyway, let's go back down to where it's at. Mr. Jamerson, Jacob Jamerson. This is my middle daughter's teacher, and it should say the word Dr. Jamerson here. Yes, you heard me, doctor. And when you call him on the phone, he said, "This is Dr. Jamerson. How can I help you today?" They answer within, literally, I've called and, okay, they're not available right now. They will call you back within 24 hours. Or if not, you literally can go into a live lesson room and talk to the teacher that way. Because you literally, so these are not just, nobody's, we don't know who these people are. No, Jonathan's teacher is an actual doctor. He has a doctorate. This guy is smart, super smart. As my daughter would say, he's big brained. He's a big brain person. Again, the teachers that they have most of the time are basically teachers that have been teaching for a long period of time. Now, you do have some noobs. You do have teachers that are just starting out, coming in and learning the ropes. And every time we have a teacher like that, they don't last long. Because they think, okay, virtual school is going to be easier than brick and mortar. No, you're on call. We can call at any time. We have a number for each teacher for them to call, so that, and we call them up, and we talk to the teachers on a daily basis. Literally, I went to, hopefully I can do this. Actually, I can't, because my stuff might be in my email that, not appropriate. I literally get emails a day, usually like, oh my God, 10 emails a day about stuff that's going on in the school. I usually get calls, actually my wife gets most of the calls, about good afternoon, Miss Edwards. Can we take a minute to talk about Jonica? This is our Kim. On a daily basis, there's some teacher calling about Jaquez, saying, okay, he needs to take care of lesson this, and this needs to be done today. Not only do they talk to them over the phone, there are virtual classrooms that they have to attend. This is not like, okay, well, they're in school, but they're never really talking to a teacher. No. You see the section in green right here? Again, if you're not on when the podcast and everything else, that I'm going to describe to you what happens. Okay, each day, this is Jonica's schedule. It says 3 p.m. math tutoring, come as needed as requested. This is a live lesson room where there's a bunch of students inside there, all on camera, like I'm speaking to you right now, so that with headphones and mics. My kids have a setup somewhat similar to this. 2 of them. The other ones just use their headphone mic ones. That they go on with their webcam. They go into the teacher's room. Then you have Jonica's on Monday. She has World History live lesson to 2 o'clock with Mr. Jameson, and it says option 1. Now, you even have to attend of this class here. Actually, this is no. Actually, it's good. You have to attend this class here, which is option 1, or option 2, which is on the next. It's either the next day or the next 2 days later, which is basically a repeat of the same class. So if students didn't make this one, you better make sure you make the second one. So you still are in class. You still get to raise your hand. You still get teachers teaching the lesson on these days and on these hours. When they're not teaching the lesson, my job is to teach the lesson. Dad, I need help with this. I'm constantly bouncing between this student, with some of my kids, because that means they have personalized between, if I can't answer the question, which most times I can, between me or the teacher, or if there's a conflict between what I say that should be done and the teacher can say it should be done, we talk about it. So, prime example, I'm going to go over the rest of this lesson with Jonathan in just a second. Yesterday, we had a question about a history thing, because the way it was worded in the assignment was that this had to be, meaning that you had to quote what happens and actually list it on the thing. But that's it. It's just Jacques. Jacques had to quote. At least that's what my brain read what it said. I was like, okay, nope, stop, wait. Get the teacher a call. Let's find out if this really what she wants, or he, I can't remember which one it is. If you really want what the teacher wants, is it my way or is this something different? We called on the phone. Now, of course, we were expecting the response to be between the next 24 hours. 10 minutes later, I get a call back saying, hey, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today? And so that I received your voicemail about the assignment. Okay, and she went over with me and my son exactly what the assignment should entail, so I can make sure me and the teacher are on the same page, so I can say, okay, thank you, ma'am. I know what I need to be done. You understand, Jacques? And if he didn't, I could explain it to him in a way he would be to understand it, to get the work done. Quick note, he got 100 on that assignment. So that's what it is. Okay, now next up, back to Jonica. You'll see right here it says 11 p.m. Oh, you can't see, I'm explaining it to you, of course. 11 p.m. science live lesson with Mrs. Welch. And then it says at 1 o'clock, a math live lesson that you have to attend. Then at 11:30, there was a language arts with Mrs. Bergman. So she had a class at 11, 11:30, science at 11, 11:30 was language arts, and 1 o'clock was math L. But again, this is what we're saying. Let's say that Jonica wasn't available on Tuesday because we had doctor's appointments, something happened, whatever. Well, if she had already attended the Monday's class in world history, she didn't have to attend that one. The language arts class, if you missed it, is available again on Thursday. So there's multiple classes available for you to take. All the core classes are offered to you twice in a week. They're going over the same thing. So if you did it on Monday or Tuesday, the first 2 days are available, you have Wednesday and Thursday to take care of it. Now, note that there's nothing on Friday because they asked us at the beginning of the year what is your schedule going to be like? And again, even though she's in a different, she's in middle school, my other one's in elementary, the schedule's still the same. We work Monday through Thursday. Friday is off. They said, okay, that's the reason why on Fridays there's an open class lab between 12 and 2 o'clock that's saying, if you need help, or if you missed a live class and everything else today, you can avail yourself on your day off to talk to the people live in class, not just on the phone. If you miss these hours between 12 and 2, you literally you can call them on the phone and say, I missed your lesson class. Is there time for you to speak to me today in a live lesson to teach me how to do what the subject matter is? And they keep spots open between 2 and 5 to do this. Again, brick and mortar. Good luck. You don't understand the assignment? I have 20 other people that I have to deal with. That's the long and the short. It makes it that each things are individually subject to you. These are award-winning classes. We get books. Lee, can you bring me your math book, please? Actually, no. Can you just bring me the book that you have right now? I know, it's just for a second. Okay. Now, hopefully this shows up right. This is the book, The K. Clay K. No, it's no L in it. Pretty sure it's not.
Look at the front of the page.
Yeah, that says C-A-Y. But anyway. So this is one of the chapter books that she has to read for class. If this was a brick and mortar thing, now this is a brand new book. Brand new. They send out brand new books most of the time. And they respect this book back at the end, and again they look when they get the book back, they look through the book. If it's still good, they'll send it out again to another person. But most of the time, they have exception of 1 or 2 times where the book was in so pristine, because again, virtual students tend to keep up with their books. My books are on a bookshelf. Each child has a separate section for their books, as if they were in a classroom. It's right above their heads, so they can pull the book out from the shelf, do their homework, put the book back on the shelf in its cubby. Because again, we take this seriously. We treat this as a normal class, just like you were in school. You have access to teachers. Again, if you are, I'm not going to say not as intelligent, but you might not be good at math. You cannot help your student with this math work. It might be algebra, it might be something. I am great at math. Most subjects, except for statistics and probabilities. Those are 2 sections of math that I absolutely hate and I am super bad in. No problem. Teacher, let's get this on. You can talk to the teachers and they can help me out so I can help them out. This is available to them and everything else like that. Now, I'm going to show you, so you see what's going on, so how the classes are arranged. Now, this is not some fly-by-night institution. Virtual schools have been around for a long time. Like I said, my 16-year-old has been going to virtual school since she was 8. So 8 years she's been going to the same virtual school. They moved her from Connexus, because again they were married together until about 2 years ago. But then when she went to high school, it's Florida virtual school, so that again the higher level of thing, still the same thing, still access to great curriculum and everything else to that. All right, so now we're gonna look at my son's. Okay, yes, he has a D. and that's in Hope Physical Education, meaning that he hasn't submitted all his videos for because again, your exercises, we have them on, we record them with our cell phones and everything else, so that, and then from there we have to send it to him. There's still a lot on my cell phone that I still haven't actually sent in yet, so that I got because you gotta actually make them smaller, compress them down so they can actually be sent over the network to the teacher. But they have to be able to show that you're actually doing the work. You have to be really working hard, you know, on the work. You don't just sit there and be like, well, I'm doing nothing. No, everything is recorded. Your work is recorded. You literally have to speak to the teacher. It's called the d.va. The d.va is you speaking to the teacher saying, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not letting somebody else, because that's what other people think. Well, someone can do the work for you and cheat. No, you can't. Because just like when I was in school and everything else, that when I got my A&P mechanics license and everything else, that you have the written, then you have the oral exam. The written exam, again, you still have to be there to do it. If someone else did the written exam for you, when it's time for you to take the oral, you're gonna fail. Because these two should be, again, you can't take well, you knew all this stuff in writing and everything else, but now when we talk to you, you don't know nothing about what's going on, then they would question that you actually didn't do the work. So that's their backup, that okay, you've submitted a written stuff, so that, and plus, and then from there, the oral says, okay, and this happens every week for every class, sometimes multiple times in a week. In order for you to get your passwords to the exam, you cannot even take the exam without doing an oral. So you have your assignments done during the week, that's you submit paperwork and everything else that. Then you have to take an oral exam. Once you pass the oral exam, then they will allow you to actually take the test for the week. So literally you go into the exam knowing that you're going to pass it because you just did the oral. If you did the oral and failed it, they were like, I'm sorry, you did not pass the oral. You need to look over and see. They know the subject. You need to go over section block X, Y, Z of the paperwork and everything else to that. But they already knew this by what you did before. So if you are struggling through a part and then take the oral and still struggling, they already know, okay, you are not ready to take this exam. You have to go back. You need to get at least a 60. Yes, I know 60 is an F during my old school scale. Now it's not. Now 60 is passing. Nope, that it says D, not an F. And it says 59.666. That literally, technically, it's rounded up to a 60. If not, this would be an F. But anyway, again, this is assignments that need to be submitted. So it's you can't cheat the system. You can't have someone else do your assignments for you and say, okay, well, do the assignments. Then the other thing they do is called turnitin.com. Everything that you wrote, written, put down the paper, everything else like that will come back and bite you in the hiney if you try to cheat. Because your assignments is submitted. Even old assignments. My daughter had to retake part of her class because she gotten sick. So they made her, and there's another thing that's cool that's available to them. So that is, it's like a mini summer school or a mini winter school where it's over the break. Let's say you didn't finish your assignment, which my daughter usually doesn't, unfortunately. So that, again, they praise her for her work when she submits it on time, but it's hard to get us to submit her assignments and get everything done on time. But anyway, so they know how smart she is and everything else. So last year, she didn't finish on time when everybody else, when the school year was over. She still had work that needed to be submitted. Okay. So basically what they did is they said, okay, they took down all her grades. They gave her a 2-week extension, 2 to 4, two of the classes were 2 weeks, the other class was 4 weeks extension, that she had to resubmit all her paperwork that she already had. She had to resubmit it. The test, she had to retake the test again. She already taken it once, but you have to retake it now because, you know, they're giving you this. The mini extension ones, you don't have to retake the test. You just have to resubmit all assignments. The 4-week one, you have to resubmit all assignments and retake the test. So she had some of them were longer than others. So when she turned in her work, now this was with a different teacher, because again, you have your normal teachers for that end with a semester in, then you have your summers. Not summer school, but your bridge, because they call it summer bridge teachers. Your summer bridge teachers can either be available for 2 weeks or some again are for long 4 weeks. The first assignment she submitted, because again, she's already submitted these assignments, she resubmitted the exact same assignments. Get back a notice from the teachers later, okay, these submitted assignments are showing up as being on turnitin.com. Hello? Look at turnitin.com. Who submitted an assignment? Day later, they get notice back. Oh, I'm sorry. We're sorry, sir. We made a mistake. It's like that. Because this was a new bridge teacher. She didn't know this already. That the assignments are just basically being returned in from the previous things to that. So if you run it through turnitin.com, of course, it's going to show up that it's been copied because it's your own assignment. So literally, you can only use that assignment once in the same semester. If it's part of the bridge program, so that you can resubmit the same assignment and it won't be submitted to turnitin.com because again, that's your own assignment. They already know this. So cheating, can't happen. You know, can someone write your essay, take your test for you and everything else? Sure. Again, but as soon as you take that oral, this cannot be you because you don't know what you're talking about. You wrote this all eloquently here and everything, so how can you not know what this is? No. Now, you can see it right here in these courses. When you do not do, my son has an issue when it comes to testing. He's terrible bad at testing. All exams, literally, he can talk you to death with all the knowledge he has about the assignment. Get 100 on oral. When he does the test for the class, does very well on the test in class. Why? Because he has extra time. There's no time limit on how long you get to take this test. So a normal student might take an hour to take this test. It's going to probably take him 2 hours are done. He takes the test. Boom, done. The problem is you have FCAT, or now they've changed it to Florida Comprehensive Assessment. So it's now, instead of FCAT, it's FCA. The FCA rolls around, it's like that you have a fixed time limit to take this exam. Even when it's 504K, that doubles the assignment. Technically, he's supposed to be able to take it this day, parts of it, first day part, second day part, third day part, fourth day. They've basically been saying, nah. He gets in a brick and mortar, it's like, nah, we're not going to do that. You have to take all assignment like everybody else. We can give you extra time in school for that day, but at that point, he'll do certain questions that if he doesn't be able to take a break and let his brain rest, you try to force him to do the rest of the assignment, it's going to come back and kick you in the butt. They've literally did the assessment with him on video, like I'm speaking to you right now on the podcast if you're listening to me, so that they videotaped him taking the assignment. The teacher has noticed that after a certain X number of period of time, she'll literally say, okay, Jaquez, while he's doing the assignment, you need to take a break. That they can see his brain start to go off into space and he's not looking at his assignment anymore and it's not really concentrating anymore. They tell him to take a break. We'll redo the rest of this test tomorrow. Again, he comes back tomorrow for the have a part of that assignment, fresh as a daisy. You can see him intently working at it, getting it done, everything else of that, until the power drop off again. Because it's the ADHD, you know, that happens. So they've seen that when he is doing it piece by piece by piece by piece, his grade does like this. It goes up, up, and up. When you force him to try to do all that assignment in one session, his grade tanks. Because again, the first part of the assignment, and you can literally look at this, the testing assignment. First part of the testing assignment, second part of the testing assignment. Why? Because he's completely lost interest. He's fidgeting. It doesn't work. So again, that's the difference between virtual school and regular school. You literally can see the difference. Teachers have physically seen the difference in his abilities by watching him taking standard tests. And again, these are standard tests. These are the same tests you have in virtual school is the same tests that you have in regular school. Actually, technically you have more. Because as you can see right here, you see where it says intensive reading. Since he didn't do as well on the FCAT, so that they give you extra work that's required by the state. Nope, that is an A. Again, intelligence, not a problem. Pressure gets to him. Now he just did the language arts one. It's like he rushed through it. He missed getting a B because he was at a B yesterday. He took his grades today. The writing one, he didn't do as well on his writing, and it dropped a little. Am I mad? No. A, B, B. Okay, he has a C. Overall, a B for a grade. Again, as soon as he submits this here, and this is not a standard course, this is just physical education. As soon as we send the videos in, it's like that, this will go back up to an A like everything else. They give you progress reports. This is your report card. You can see what he's doing, who the teacher name and the structure, how many weeks he's been in the class, everything else like that. His completion rates, what he's doing. You can literally log this is my portal. That I can see exactly what he's doing, when he's doing it, and how to do it. Now, do I wish this was a little bit more like this one here? Yes. When they split, when they divorce each other, they went to a standard curriculum where it gives him more flexibility and less structure, but certain students really need the structure. So unfortunately, it's a little bit harder because usually before I used to get done with this almost a week or two early before school ended, it's like that, or at least a week early, it's like that. Now keeps running up against the hard deadline, which is tomorrow, to get the rest of this stuff has to be submitted by tomorrow. So he's got a test, the tests here. Well, 4:30 tomorrow night. Sorry, tomorrow afternoon. Sorry. The rest of this stuff has to be submitted. So, your virtual school is great. Now, this is the bad part about virtual school, because there's always a bad side. You need to be able to keep your student on task. You need to be available to be able to sit with your student to do this. So I have a flexible schedule. I work for myself. So I have the ability to, since I work for myself, I can devote my daytime to them and do my work after school is over, or I can do work before they get up and everything else, so that get done and come back home from whatever assignment I needed to do for the day, and then teach them afterwards, which has happened. Sometimes I've been up way early, both everybody in the house is still asleep, do my things, so to come back home and teach them class with it. So if you don't have a flexible schedule, you can't do it. Now you have to ask yourself so that is it worth it? For me, it's very worth it. Would I put my children back in regular school with all the mass shootings of this, the budget they got for that? Literally, this will be the first year that Volusia County has gotten books back into the school, and they don't got all books back. They only got 2 of the core books back. No. Why would I put them in a situation where I'm basically setting them up to fail? Everything that when they graduate virtual school, they are going to graduate with the same certificate that a person with brick and mortar has. If you wanted to go advanced classes, you can do that. It is available to you. So let's go to back to my son's one, so that hopefully I still have him logged in. Nope, it dropped. Okay, let's go into feedback. Did you know? And it actually, when it pops up about feedback. If you don't see something, you see something wrong and everything else, that you can send them feedback. So right now he's taking pre-algebra. Okay, it's going to take a minute to pop up. Now again, this is 2:40 in the morning. Right now, 2 of my kids are still up, and so because they can't sleep, they have their insomnia. They're actually doing schoolwork right as we speak. I'm literally doing a podcast while they're doing schoolwork. Okay, so when you look at right now, we're looking at the coursework. Let's go into gradebook. Okay. Now, when you look at the gradebook and everything else, that you'll see that there's 2 sets of things available to you to do. There's normal classes, and then there's advanced classes. You have enrichment things and everything else. So you have everything you need to do for the assignment. The other good thing about it is, let's say if you get an assignment and you blow that assignment to hell before the finals are due, meaning that before these 2 segment exams, which is the last ones for the class. Let's say, okay, this assignment here, the practice one, where he didn't do well in, because it's just a practice. You get a feel for the test, or sometimes the test shuts down. You have to get a reset. You get a 30. Okay, long as it's not these 2 here. They'll reset it for you 2 additional times. Now, of course, it's not the same questions. So you're not saying, okay, well, you're not saying just taking the same assignment over and over again. No, but if you blow the assignment, they'll give you another assignment based on the same testing criteria for you to do again. Now, my oldest daughter, her things looks exactly like this, but since she's in high school, you don't get to do it 3 times. You have the first time, and then you have 1 reset. That's it. Now, this is what I was talking about. Discussion-based assessment. You cannot take the segment exam and these will not be unlocked unless you do the discussion. Unless that discussion has been exempt, like this discussion here. Now, sometimes when they're doing the discussions, especially in mathematics and everything else, so that some of these things have to be, it's like an oral done in the exam. So you have to have handwritten work for a special assignment test, things like that. When that happens, they bypass the discussion, because literally you're writing in your own handwriting what the assignment is. It's basically like an oral, but it's a written oral. But most of the time, you have a discussion-based assessment. 90. Again, now this is, again, you have to discuss you have to know what you're talking about. Then when you take the exam, you're almost guaranteed to pass. You might not do as well on the oral, because you might know one part of the topic better, and this might be where they ask you more questions of, and there might be some obscure one that extra question, anything that you missed. But notice, that oral exam is the same questions. Sorry, this almost the same amount of questions as the written one. So you better know your stuff, or you're screwed. So again, virtual school. What I recommended if for your community and everything else to that, what I would recommend you do is take a look. Now, I'm not advertising to say the Connections Academy is the best, because this year here, I will tell you, there has been major challenges. Like, prime example, one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. Okay, so as I said before, you have to go into certain classes are mandatory, meaning that you have to be on camera talking to certain teachers for your assignment. Okay, so the teacher has a record of you actually being in that classroom doing the lesson. I have gotten notices saying that your child hasn't attended. I'm like, what? What do you mean they haven't attended? I have the thing right here showing that they attended. What are you talking about? Okay, so I'm actually going to take off the camera for a second, because I want to try to find this email that came to me. So hold on one second. We'll be right back. So I need to find this email so that I want to bring up an email of where they've made a mistake, and they had to basically send out a retraction letter saying, oops, we blew something. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to turn the camera back on right now so that, okay. Basically, we had this letter here stating that your child is more than 10% behind in the curriculum, meaning that they're not going to get this stuff completed on time to be done by the required time, which we know is bull, because we monitor this stuff all the time. It shows that they're going to finish on time. Then they send a retracted out. Good morning. Due to an error in reporting data, you and your student may have mistakenly received an wet mail stating that your student was 10% behind in these courses. As of today, your student is 94% completed. Well, yes, we know this already. So sometimes there's a disconnect between what the teacher has, because again, she's keeping her records, and what the actual administration has for your student. So we got bombarded with emails from Connections Academy saying, so that, well, your student, your child hasn't been attending the mandatory classes that they were supposed to. And we're sitting there, and then my wife saying, okay, well, hold on, wait, maybe, because that's the other thing, they kept changing schedules on when the class was supposed to be attended. It's supposed to be fixed, meaning that since we have so many kids in virtual school, bandwidth issues and everything else, that it's supposed to be a fixed schedule for these classes. It's not supposed to move. They kept moving the classes around so he would miss classes, and then the teacher would sign a makeup for us to do the makeup for the class. Okay, so the makeup times weren't being included in the reporting, because the teacher didn't send it in, which I highly doubt, or the administrator didn't put the stuff in correctly. But you're not supposed to be changing the classes around from different dates, so you can have a schedule that you know you have to be in this class on this date to get the required work done. Okay, so two of our kids, they kept bugging us, and we sent notes to the teachers. Okay, what are they talking about? They said they hadn't attended. I had gotten to the point where I was completely over, and I was going to blast the school. Not blast. What I mean by blast is an angry conversation with the administration about, you keep telling me that my student hasn't attended when I know goodness well I was there sitting there watching them attended. Get your stuff straight. Stop contacting us with this BS, because the teachers are saying, yes, sir, because again, since there's so many teachers, we have to contact each teacher. It's like, okay, they're saying that he didn't attend this date, he hasn't attended since early part of November. The teacher's like, I'm sorry, sir, I have no idea why this is coming up to you. I'll send an email to the administration showing the child did attend these dates and everything else to that. So it's not like they don't have issues. Now again, up until this year, we didn't have these issues because again, when they divorced, Connections Academy basically had to relearn everything. You still have the same principal, but you didn't have the administration was done by Florida Connections Academy. Now, since they're doing their own administrations, they're having teething, growing pains, or it's annoying. But the teachers itself are great. So now I have to deal with the administration part of it that is messing up. But the teachers are like, all you can do is clap for the teachers because the teachers are on point. They call. Is there anything you need? If you have any questions, please feel free to call me at any time, even if it's late at night up until in the reasonable hour. You have a question, they give you the telephone number, just text. So even if it's after hours and you have a question, you can text the teacher. The teacher will read the test, and if it's something that they can get back to you that day on, I've literally been text back at 8 o'clock at night because I had a question or my child had a question about what's going on, and they text back. So, okay, this is the answer to your question. Thank you. And I text back, thank you. I so appreciate it. So they can get on again because some of them do their classes late. Now, I encourage everybody else, to take a look at this and everything else. If you feel you can do virtual school, it might be an option for you, but then again, it might not. It works for my family, but it may not work for yours. So, it's really up to you so that how you feel about virtual school and everything else. You're getting an expensive, basically a private school sometimes it's free, sometimes it's not. Depends on what your of course how much money you make and everything else. So it's like the free lunch program in school and everything else. So that if you have no money and everything else, so that you're still able to get a grant to do this. If you're working and everything else, so that you might have to chip in some money. But it depends. You have other ones that are completely that you have to pay for. You get a voucher from your school system they pay for and everything else of that. And again, so look into it. This might be something that your child can use, and it might not be for you. It works for me. It works for me pretty damn well. Well, that's all I have for you today and everything else. That I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, we've been missing in action for a little bit and everything else of that because literally Christmas and everything else, that Thanksgiving, it's just been a crazy time and everything else of that. But I wanted to get this one out right now, so then after the next one will be after Christmas. But until then, I wish you and yours the best. Hopefully you have a great Christmas. This is Warp on the Dukes and Warp Out. Have fun, and of course, we will catch you on the next one.